first startup, we're about 8 people, and this was definitely something that we were unfamiliar with and skeptical, and there was a lot of unknowns, right? How are we going to get through this? Productivity, startup, you all want to be in one space, you're pivoting, you're making decisions, and how's being remote going to work out? But adaptability is inherent to human nature, so we've all adapted, and I think positively, surprisingly, I've found this to be the remote working to be really productive, not only for me but for my team as well. Not only getting things done, but being able to collaborate through chats like this, getting hold of people. It's just been a positive experience, right? So I feel as companies start to think about what success looks like, and as they start, I think there's going to be a rethinking process, right? Like what is success and productivity? Definition of productivity is going to change, and they're going to think about hiring people differently. They're going to think about office spaces differently. They're going to think about metrics for success differently, right? So maybe that old school stigma of working from home or remote is going to go away, and people are more going to be like, oh yeah, this really worked for 6 months. Why don't we rethink the way we distribute our workforces across any geographical places, right? So I think it's a good thing that's going to come out of this, and I'm excited. My team and I have been very, very productive over this period, and continue to see where this evolves to.
I think 2 things that I would add to it is, one, I think it gives an interesting perspective, or interesting opportunity, like, working from Southern California, something you couldn't normally just kind of do. And I think businesses are recognizing and leaders are recognizing that it's a lot easier hurdle to just say, well, you're remote anyway. Why do I care exactly where you're at? And they start to move towards outcomes versus time. And I think this is key. And I think it can be both a positive and a negative, because I'm not sure about you all, but productivity is relative, right? Somebody could be working 10 hours, 12-hour days while remote. And I noticed that my work habits have ticked up that way. But everything isn't always productive, meaning it doesn't have the outcomes that I desire. Some of it tends to be busy work. And so I forced myself, and I've challenged people in our organization to constantly look at that and ask the question always, is this valuable? Is this something I should be doing? Because with more space, time, and distance comes more process and red tape and things that you have to overcome. And so I think, to echo Nimesh's point there, how we think about productivity is interesting, and it is obvious that we're proving it's possible to work in a more remote fashion. I think what isn't so obvious, and what I think is going to start happening, is people are going to be saying, how do I be effective, and how do I work towards an actual outcome versus just being busy?